Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's Wednesday Walkabout in the garden. It is going to be a working walkabout, and while it's difficult for me to work while I shoot, I'll probably just kind of point out to you some of the things that I'm going to be doing. First, let's take a moment to appreciate just how great my pillows look. So the remaining 3 came in. As you recall, this weekend I think I showed you that I got 1, and now the remaining 3 came in, and I love the punch of color it gives to the backyard. And I've brought out a little faux pumpkin that I painted, and I'll probably just put one of those solar lights in it. These are sunbrella, so I think the fabric will really hold up. And that makes me happy. And you can see now that indeed the color of them really pairs nicely with the color of the mums that are just starting to come out. Now keep your fingers crossed all that we will get the rain that is promised today. I certainly hope so, because we really need it. And I am always more prone to overwatering when it's very dry, and I am guilty of that. And so I need to get just a really good soaking rain and the temperatures to cool off, so I won't be so prone to that, because I've probably killed more plants by overwatering than I have by underwatering. I'm also hoping that it really kind of gives a jolt to my veggies back here, which seem to me to just be kind of slow growing. And I think because it's been so hot, we have pretty regularly still had high temps in the 90s. So I'm hoping these cooler temps will make these salad greens flourish a little bit better and put on some growth. Likewise the carrots and the snap peas. I also wanted to give you a little bit of an update on the table. Some of you were concerned that it wasn't going to be outdoor proof, and indeed it will be. It's acacia wood, and that is weatherproof, rot proof, and even if over time I lose it or it decays, then I'll just replace it with another wood top. But it is outdoor worthy. And the candlesticks, as I told you, I've had for a long time. Now I bring those in. If the weather gets bad, I will bring those in. And particularly since it's still warm, the candles themselves might melt. So I'll bring those in. And I'm still kind of zhuzhing my pots. I still don't have them in their ultimate destination. So that is one of the things I'll be doing on my working Wednesday Walkabout today. We'll say goodbye to the basil because it is all getting harvested today. I'm going to bring it inside, blanch it, and make some pesto. And I'll maybe try to do that on camera for you guys. I'm not sure. It just depends on what kind of time I have. Something else that I did is I ordered some light fixtures by the garage door, probably to flank this window. Yes, I will remove the tag. Someone pointed out that it wasn't very elegant for me not to have removed that sticker on the inside of the window, but I have to clean out the garage to even be able to get near that. So yes, I will get to it. It's on my list, as is hooking up the rain barrel. I keep talking about that, but some things just take longer than others, but I am working on that. And here's some more basil over here, and that too will get harvested today in my working Wednesday Walkabout. Well, this is work that actually has already been completed. I thought today we might have rain all day, but obviously it's still sunny, and I don't think, if we get it, it arrives until later this afternoon or early this evening. But you'll notice that it is far less congested. This is the west side of the upper terrace, and that is because I have pulled out all of the zinnias. They were still blooming, but suddenly, just very rapidly, they developed a bad case of powdery mildew, as they are prone to do. And so I pulled them out. I cut all of the zinnias on this side, and I am now enjoying them inside, which is nice. But I did this for a couple of reasons. I think I may have shared it yesterday. I'm starting to try to post a daily garden journal entry now that I finally have my garden journal. And by the way, they have updated the delivery date. It is back to November 14th, one of my sister's birthdays, my oldest sister's birthday. So you can see where the zinnias have been removed, and this gives me clarity on what kind of spaces I have without the annuals in place. It'll give more room for the white wedding hydrangeas to grow. And it will also tell me where I have spaces where I might want to add a little bit more evergreen interest for the winter, because I do want this to be a four-season garden. It will also tell me what voids I have and what potential there is for planting bulbs. And if you've not planted your bulbs yet, you might try still ordering them from colorblends.com and see what they have remaining. In this area, I anticipate there might be lots of alliums in the background, and I will probably put down a fresh layer of mulch here. I love the way it looks now that the native that was in front of this other silvery gray native has been moved. So there's a lot more room here, because it is along this edge where the golden Joseph's coat is now. In case you missed it when I revealed it before, this is where I am going to have my tulips. There's going to be a pretty strong grid pattern that will outline the two terraces, and then maybe some on the banks below. And I think it'll be beautiful. I still haven't decided about pansy placement. It's been too hot for me to even think about placing pansies in any of these locations or planting pansies. Now look at this mound here, this little village of better boxwood, because it has just about grown together. I'm going to be doing a plant profile here probably tomorrow on better boxwood, which won't be released until next year. But what makes a boxwood better? And that is if it is boxwood blight resistant. And in addition, it's just beautiful and tough as nails, at least in my experience. Well, it is Lemon Lane, and this area in here, also the area around the bird bath, which is going to get cleaned out today in this working Wednesday. And it's this area that's going to get lots of attention, these two areas rather, because I'm going to be transplanting. It's been pretty warm to do it, but in the back, I've showed you a pot that just has lots and lots of foxglove seedlings. So this is what the foxglove looks when it is mature. It is a biannual, and it produces foliage the first year and blooms the second. So I'm really wanting to fill this space for late summer and have all sorts of blooming foxglove in here. So that'll be kind of around the bird bath and along Lemon Lane. And here's some more. I've got tufts of it, some larger, some smaller, throughout this space. So there's a tuft, and then you can see some individual little rosettes of foxglove that extend back that way. So I think it'll be very magical and very cottagey for that foxglove or digitalis to be in bloom next spring. It is the It is the product from which digitalis, or the plant from which the product digitalis, the cardiac medicine, is made. So you have to be careful with it with around pets, though I have never seen a pet disturb it. But I want this to be a whole beautiful, flowing, curving expanse of foxglove. The pink zinnias on the east side, they have some signs of powdery mildew, but not a lot. And so these I am going to leave here for the butterflies and the pollinators. The monarchs on their migration south will be leaving pretty soon. But look at how beautiful the butterfly candy still looks. And I will be spending a lot of time today. This is one of those things I enjoy doing in between other things. So I'll work a little bit indoors in my office, and then I'll come out here and I'll select one plant to deadhead. And then I'll go back inside and do another, partly because of the heat, partly because it's just a little treat I give myself throughout the day. And today also, oh my goodness, look over here. That big skeleton that I saw last year when I first saw the cottage went up last night. I think Justin and his son Jackson, I think that's his name, put that up last night. And how fun. And it will be looking down on the witch that at my house will be going up today. On the west side, I believe, of the upper terrace. I need to put it together and get it in. Might wait till after it rains so the stakes go in a little bit easier. And the salvia has just been a trooper. I cannot believe how well it performed this year. You can see it, glimpses of it through the window of my Anne Magnolia, and how prettily it coordinates with the Budleyi. Now I'm going to transplant, because some of it has gone to seed, and as part of my Wednesday Walkabout, some of the little seeded darlings that I have seen that have volunteered in the garden beds, I'll be moving those around to a different location. Likewise, there are some that I planted earlier in the season, this kind of fuchsia pink color, and I've got several mounds of it that are scattered in just different parts of the upper terrace, and I need to transplant it more into the foreground because it's kind of been tucked inside the body of the grid on both sides, and consequently then it got shaded out and obscured by the towering zinnias and some of the other towering annuals. And so I'll be moving those closer to the edge, since they do have a low growing profile, and I'll be moving those closer to the edge so they won't get shaded out, and also so that they can be deadheaded more regularly. They'll be much more accessible and I think much more beautiful. And let's take a moment to, speaking of beauty, look at how beautiful this butterfly candy looks on this side. It performed beyond my expectations. I cannot wait to see what it's going to look like when the white fills out and is in bloom in the back where I transplanted it. And I'm really going to be sad when the boxwood basil, or the Greek basil, as some of you have pointed out, the Greek basil has to be pulled out and harvested, because I have so enjoyed it. I'm sure going to be saving lots of its seed. And look at all this foxglove tucked back in there underneath the rose and also the agapanthus. And you can see here that now a lot of these tiny little tufts of foxglove, it's going to be a foxglove kind of day, now that it's getting more light, has more room to breathe, and hopefully we'll get some much awaited rainfall today. I think will really take off. So I already have visions of what it will look like next spring, and in the context of things that has really matured, because even though there was the illusion of maturity of this garden this year, thanks to lots of annuals that I planted, it nevertheless really was not a mature garden. So lots of the boxwood and the hydrangeas and different shrubs really need to grow up and fill in, and I won't have to rely so heavily on annuals, though I did enjoy them, but it will really have a mature quality. If you're like me and you just love tone on tone, color on color, then this combo is really great. These Moonlight Encore azaleas with white wedding hydrangea, and on the other side I have the pink carnation hydrangeas paired with Moon Dance hydrangeas, and I think the pairing is really good. They seem to like the same kinds of conditions. And look at how massive these have gotten just in a year. I cannot wait till they're mature. I do not feed them for fall bloom prior to fall. In other words, I wait till late winter to fertilize so that they'll bloom in the spring. And right now the blooms are appreciated, but really what I want them to do is just put on size. I really want them to just grow rather than expend their energy on blooming right now. These little tufts on these straight stems, this is Verbena bonariensis, and people seem to either love it or hate it, and I really love it. I planted some of the seeds earlier in the spring when I planted the cleome and the celosia, but for some reason not as much of it germinated. That which did really produced exactly the effect I wanted it to produce, and that's this kind of airiness and a tone-on-tone quality with the purple of the salvia. So in my working walkabout today, I will definitely make sure that I scatter some more seed, because I do want more of its beautiful perky blooms. And look at how gorgeous it looks with that sunshine ligustrum and the color echo of the budleyi. And speaking of color echoes, look at this pretty Diamond Frost euphorbia and how it's paired with the penta. Both of these, I will make a note in my garden journal. What a magnificent pairing, because not only are they really beautiful, but boy, they were able to handle this sweltering exposure here along with the lantana. So definitely lots more of that will be planted in my garden next year. Now a note on keeping these things blooming. Because I keep checking the weather forecast, and as long as it has stayed warm and hot, then I have wanted these annuals to keep blooming, and I have continued to feed particularly the ones in the containers. But that's coming to an end this week. No more feeding. And I have really not been feeding my shrubs and things like that. It's mostly just been the annuals, because I wanted it to continue to kick out some of the most beautiful color it's had since it was planted. I need to put up my bathroom shade. And evidence of that is just how profusely the lantana is cascading outside of the containers. So what is a win for me this season will definitely be repeated next season. Make a note in my journal. Hello, butterflies. This is a pot that's going to get a makeover today. I think I've discussed it before, but this topiary will be transplanted into a round pot, and then all of this foxglove. This is what I was alluding to earlier. Some of it will go to my friend Gail, who was requesting some foxglove, but a good bit of it that's remaining will be taken out of the pots, escape the bondage of its container, and be allowed to flourish in the garden beds. And as part of my working Wednesday, I am taking care of details. So I did order some carriage lights that will go on either side of the garage door. And I think I also ordered some solar light bulbs, and I'm going to try them out and see if I can do it without having to in any way connect them to electricity. That way it will be much less expensive, much easier, and I think there will be enough light in this area to power them for just the nighttime when I really need it. And I think it is a much needed appointment of jewelry on the expanse of this garage. So once those are in place, I'll look to see if I need to do anything else with the sides, with the brick sides. I do like the shadows of the topiary on the wall, and pretty soon in the corner that oak leaf hydrangea will fill out, and it will really embrace that corner beautifully, I think. And imagine this time next year when the foliage on it turns that quintessential autumnal color and echoes what likely might be next year, the beautiful purple or purpley red maroon in the hibiscus. And so I am not only appreciating it in the moment as it's putting out new growth, but also envisioning what it will be like next season after a full year in the ground, and really a chance to flourish much better, much more greatly than it has so far. And by the way, the first entertaining that will be done out here is I think it's going to be Friday, and Kayla is going to bring the guys over for lunch, and we're all going to have burger and fries and things like that out here. So that will be the first, and I think appropriately so, the first kind of entertaining that we do for fall in this back living room. They may have seemed just like dead sticks when we transplanted them, but look at all of the new growth emerging on the butterfly candy. So pretty soon these are going to be beautiful white blooming gray tufts. Part of the reason that this back garden looks so piecemeal right now is because none of these things have filled in. So that makes it look, again, more piecemeal, more cluttered, less thought out than it will once all of these things mature and grow in. And I guess that's what vision is all about, being able to see what it will look like when it is established. Well, that does it for me. Thank you guys for going on this little Wednesday walkabout with me. I guess I need to put this camera down and pick up a shovel and start getting to work, hopefully before the rains come this evening. What are you going to be doing as you work in the garden today?